Alright, everybody, are you ready for this? Because I'm dreading this way too much. Either way, welcome back, everybody. Today, we're taking a look at this brand new update here. Finally, the 6th season has now been released here. The founders have returned to the wasteland here, the enemy of my enemy. But it's a kind of an interesting season overall. I have looked at a few things here, not everything, so it's going to be kind of a first going over this here. But from what I can see here, there's, it's a mixed bag of things overall here. And I guess we'll get to that here soon enough. But either way, let's start off here with just the old event coming along here. So, as expected, it's going to be similar to that of a typical season, except instead of it being like 90 to 100 days, it is now half that time at roughly 50 days here. And instead of there being, 75 levels, there's now only 50 levels here, with the 50th level being coins. Now, we'll actually go over the level rewards here in a later video on here, because I have a whole thing and rant about that, and it's particular rewards here that, a bit questionable. A bit questionable, if you can imagine that. I know, right? Me disagreeing with the monetization system of this game that I have so vehemently criticized 1,000 times before. And yet, I'm going to criticize it yet again. So we'll have to hopefully wait off on that, because I don't want to make this video a, 90-minute video of just me sitting here losing my marbles again. But either way, let's go ahead and go to the actual important changes here. With the season, the rules of production of the new parts that are included in the season are changing. Now, during the season, all new parts, including the fused versions, handcrafted in unlimited quantities, permanent recipes will be available. Perfect, that's all I've been wanting here. Permanent recipes should be a staple of seasons. They should not be temporary in the slightest. For people who are working their butts off, actually trying to get everything here, making these parts only temporary here, it's just a huge kick in the teeth. Not to mention, too, that for the majority of players here, there's still going to be a limited amount because very few people are actually going to play the season to completion and get all the various recipes. So limiting them off the bat with limited craft time was just a complete no-go to begin with. But then, I think a lot of them were also quite expensive, too, with a lot of them being legendaries, so that was also just a big barrier to entry for a lot of people. But great, they've changed those temporary blueprints back to permanent ones here, but again, there's also a little caveat to that later on. As new levels of the season are gained, all players will discover and receive additional one-time recipes for the production of new parts and parts in Season 1 Return to the Founders. During the season, you can also get several one-time recipes for each new part at once. So these are more or less for people who weren't there for the Return of the Founders event, which was basically the first season of this game, the biggest peak of this game. And yeah, I guess you can get these brand new parts. So they'd be like the Sumator, the Verifier, I believe is how you pronounce it here, the Assembler, the Annihilator drone, things like that. So now you can actually get those again here. Woohoo. But you can only get them for a little bit, and you have to craft them within the time, otherwise, and no-go. Once this is over, permanent recipes will become unavailable, but you'll still have one-time recipes. One-time recipes can be used whenever you want. Okay! Targem! How can permanent recipes be available, and then also not available? Oh my god, I just gave you so much praise, and then you immediately just yoink my balls from underneath me. What the is this? What is this? Again, permanent recipes, unavailable. Why? Permanent recipes from seasons were already in limited stock because, again, 1, you had to be there and completed the season. 2, not everyone who completed the season will be around here forever, so guess what? It will naturally decline over time. And C, this will actually rely on people to actually craft these things in unlimited amounts here. And D, no one's going to be able to earn these after the fact either. So congratulations. There's going to be a huge, limited supply here. What's the point of this? I know it's to, basically make, oh, well, people are here to make the seasons more rewarding, and then people will actually feel like they got something from... No, this is clearly a push in order to actually sell the season. Because now, seasons are no longer just going to be like, hey, here's, a event that has, a nice cosmetics here, and, some certain decor items that are going to be unavailable. No, it's going to be more like, hey, now there's actually just, a large portion of the game that you cannot actually readily access without using a shiitake ton of coins here, which will A, artificially increase their price, and B, if they ever become meta, congratulations, there's going to be a huge supply drought, really driving up the incentive to sell coins. I mean, just... Again, Targem, this needs to be removed here. Because just doing this thing here is just another little cut in my enthusiasm for this game here. Sure, I have you know, a decent amount of praise for this game, and I still do like playing it here. But this does not help, especially with the fact that the reviews for this game still mention the free or the pay-to-win aspect of this game, and this does not aid it in the slightest here. But I guess we'll expand upon this further in the next video here, because, again, I don't want to make this a 30-minute rant about why I hate this. One-time recipes will be added storage resource tab, and do not take additional storage space. Okay, cool, thanks. If you do not have enough time, or didn't have the opportunity to craft a certain part during the season, you'll be able to craft it in the one-time recipes. Yeah, cool. Assuming that A, you're around... Okay, again, I'm going to be repeating myself, so put a pin on that for a second. At the end of the season, new parts cannot be crafted in limited quantities, and this will increase their value and rarity. You'll be able to track the movement when the demand and price for this part will be high. Craft it using the one-time recipes and sell for profitability as possible for yourself. You don't have parts to use it on your art card anytime. It is always up to you. Again, it's always up to you, asterisk, for how much we allow it. We will only allow it for this certain amount of time for this certain amount of recipes here, and you sure as heck, if you exceed that, congratulations, not going to work here. I mean, God, I gotta imagine if you're like a big crafter in this game, you love playing the markets here, you love trying to make as much money as possible here, and you love seeing that coin value go up here, only for there to be like corridor windows added into this game here, which severely limit your restriction to flip an item, or these limited part events here. I mean, there's a reason why one of the most profitable items to sit here and just craft and flip a bunch now is just repair kits. That's all it is now. It's just like, make 20 repair kits, sell that like 3 or 4 times a day, and you make more money. And it's super low risk. Compared to this, where it's just like, okay, cool. Now I can no longer make them. Awesome, thanks. Why? I don't know. It's funny, too, because it just feels like antithetical to the design of this game. For craft, ride, and destroy, for the craft aspect to just be slowly chipped away over time, to the point where, congratulations, you can craft about half the items. Not to mention just all the items that are pack exclusive that you cannot craft in the slightest and can only be achieved either A, through the market, or B, through laborious prestige levels that the majority of players who even play this game religiously do not have. So it's just like, as time goes on, that craft section is going to be less and less and less and less and less, and there's going to be a fourth aspect of this: craft, ride, destroy, and like purchase. Get your wallet out, boy. Okay. Cap on that again. Cap on that. But again, how much of a cap it is? I'm already 8 minutes in. Whew. Again, event level up here. Wow, congratulations. It's the exact same leveling system as last time here. You got daily rewards that change out daily and do not carry over weekly. And you have the weekly regular rewards and the weekly hard rewards. You do those or you don't, and they stack up over seasons. And congratulations, do them at the big end of the season. You get a bunch of rewards here. Although, I'm going to read this real quick just to make sure they haven't changed it. Okay, good. So they haven't made it so that the weekly rewards are no longer, or that they haven't changed those at all. Because I was afraid, I was like, Targem, I know, like, in the next coming seasons here, they're going to change it so that these weekly rewards no longer stack, and that you actually have to play this game every week. I am just waiting for the season in which they're actually going to flip the switch and actually do that, because I just know they are frothing at the mouth in order to actually incentivize daily and weekly playing of this game here to maximize interaction and sales. I'm waiting for it. But okay, next, the new parts here. Okay, we actually get the full breadth of new parts here. So first things first, we got the new nail gun here called the Argument. Very interesting, epic gun, 1100 power score, 183 durability, 4 energy points, 240 kilograms of energy. But hitting an enemy reduces the reload time of the next shot by 30%. Also, each hit reduces the time to fully charge an Argument up to 5%, up to 4 times. So you can actually get up to about, what, 20% here to reduce the time it actually takes to use this. So if you're actually very accurate with this thing and you're very consistent with it, you can actually get a much higher DPS on this gun here, which will actually be very interesting to see how that turns out here. I can imagine for a lot of bots here, this actually may steamroll into a very fast and very shooty bot here, which I'm not looking forward to, but alright. Next we got the laser drill, the Destructor here, which I can imagine everyone in Clan Wars right now is either clamoring for or moaning in pain about this. So again, legendary here, power score of 1600, again, makes sense. Durability of 327, not the highest here, especially considering that it has a very large model size here. I can't really show you it because, unfortunately, I do not have a promotional account here, so I can't just sit here and show you vehicles with it, but Just take my word for it. It's a very large gun. Durability might get stripped easily, but considering how much damage it does and the stripping potential of this weapon, I'm sure it's not really going to be too much of an issue for people who are using this, especially bots. Oh my god, I cannot. Ugh. It's going to be awful with this blockchain and Destructor bots. No! Next, we also have the mass of 540 kilograms. Not too bad. Energy drain of 4 points. Not too bad either. Perk of a beam hits the enemy entirely at the end of the shot, additionally heats up the parts, and deals more damage by 800% here. So effectively deals a shiitake ton of damage, while also heating up the parts more consistently, so increasing your DPS overall. So the heating part will actually do an extra 200% damage. So theoretically, I actually wonder if that end damage portion actually goes up to times 1600 then, or if it just goes up to like times, what, 1000? I mean, still, either way though, it's going to be a lot of damage if you manage to consistently hit this weapon. So I can imagine this thing just being a straight melter for a lot of builds, especially with enhanced reload speed on things like the Omni Box, or heavens forbid, the Photon Cabin. But we'll have to see how that turns out. Next, we got the Pasta here, the shotgun. Legendary as always. Man, they're really going on a legendary binge here. I feel like eventually there's going to actually be more legendary parts than there are going to be epic or even special tier parts here. And you can probably guess why that would be the case here. For one, it allows them to be more creative, but B, on the flip side here, leads to more sales of coin packs. But legendary here, 1600 power score, like the other one. Durability of 320 here, which is just 7 points lower than the Destructor here. Has 4 energy points, like pretty much everything is 4 energy points now. A mass of 260 kilograms. And the perk of this is the damage on the next shot is increased by 3% for each shell that hits the enemies. It'd be very lovely if you also had the amount of shells this projectile shot then, so you can actually calculate how much damage this thing can actually do. But, cool, thanks for not telling us. So, this is kind of a vague measurement here. It'd be excellent if you could actually tell us the cap of this. Because does it only shoot 3 pellets? Does it shoot 30 pellets? Does it shoot 400 pellets? We don't know! But alright, cool. And from what I understand too, the perk of this thing is that the longer you actually charge it up here, the more focused the spread becomes, so the further you can shoot with accuracy. And again, how many more damage you can do in like small to medium large cars. So interesting to see how that turns out here. The fact that this is actually like not showing you the entire perk is kind of weird, but cool. Thanks. Bootstrap energy generator. Okay, well, as you can imagine here, it's a slightly durable, adds 3 energy. It's an epic with a power score of 870 here and a mass of 840 here. But as you can see here, it's a very large generator with an awkward shape, but it's essentially the, what was it, the P2U was the heavy version of the awkward size of the scavengers. So essentially just the heavy version of the gas gen here. So for those who are like, okay, I'm already in a tank car, I'd rather just have a very durable generator as opposed to a very lightweight explosive one. At the same time too though, due to its very awkward shape here, I imagine it actually makes it incredibly vulnerable to explosive parts and is also unable to be armored as easily. So I can't imagine this generator actually being super, I'm not going to say friendly. Well, I mean, the fact is you can't craft this after the event is over, so it doesn't even matter if it's actually a good generator. Not a lot of people are going to have it, but B, it's also very awkward, very large, very heavy. So I imagine a lot of builds are actually not going to utilize this. And also too, where's the damage it does here? Oh my god. Like, these things are so succinct, it's missing like half the important stats here. How much damage and how large is the radius of the explosion when it blows up here? Because that's also a big part here. Because if the generator explodes and the radius is your entire car and it does 2,000 damage, it doesn't even matter how good it is. It's an instant linchpin that's going to kill you. So it would be a complete risk to have it on your car. Okay, Targem. Criticism. Again, please make these notes a bit more detailed, I guess would be the word for it. I understand you don't want to make this page like 700 pages long. You don't make this article 700 pages long. But the only people who are going to be reading it to this detail are those who are interested in the details here. So the fact that you're missing all this, just see it. Okay. Whew, let's calm down here. My god. But yeah, I'm not going to see this thing being very popular. Next, structural parts here. You can go ahead and take a look at them in your own leisure. I'm not really going to go over them in huge detail because, again, they all look pretty cool. They all look pretty neat. La-di-da. Next, we got the Elite Battle Pass here, which I'm guessing all the Battle Pass levels are going to be the same thing. So the Elite one's going to be $35, the regular one's going to be $10, and each level is going to be like, what, $1, $2 here? So, yay, congratulations. Exact same thing as always, except, of course, the price has not been reduced. I'm guessing. I haven't taken a look at that. I'll go ahead and put a little image on screen that says yes or no, if it actually changed, but next here, we have the new mode, Operation Ashen Ring here. So, let's go ahead and take a look at this. Operation Ashen Ring is a special PvE event, just like Operation Ghost. You can test your team and skills as well as earn resources and commemorative awards here. Minimum PS of 4,000, takes you to the Ashen Ring map again. You need to get a mobile command post and protect it from waves of enemy. I actually wonder if that means it's going to be similar to that of the Christmas event, if the mobile command post actually moves, or if it's like mobile in the sense it can move but will never move. I don't know, who knows. In the Rob Defense, you can build special machine guns and counter turrets using parts you get for destroying enemies. I actually appreciate there's cannon turrets now, so that's going to be kind of nice. Cannon turrets are definitely going to be interesting because they have the ability to flip people with their kinetic impulse. Turrets can also be repaired and upgraded with the parts lifted from opponents. Okay, similar to that of the Frontier Defense missions. In total, you have to hold against 3 enemy waves. At the end of each wave, you'll need to destroy the ringleader. Okay, so very similar to that of Frontier Defense. As you hold your defense, you'll have access to special additional tasks to collect and deliver cargo to the MCP, which is the mobile command post. Completing such a task will not only reinforces the enemy, but also earns you more parts. Or more points, sorry. Interesting. Reinforces the enemies. I'm kind of curious as to the wording of that. So it actually makes the enemies more difficult, but it gives you more points? I'm actually curious if that interlocks with like a leadership board and giving you additional stuff. But let's see about that. So you have the 50 red eyes of the Ravagers. It gives you 2 stickers. In 10 battles, deliver at least 1 cargo on the base. You need the core, note to Ravagers. Install the upgrade turret 40 times on Operation Ashen Ring. Get you the dummy target for the Founders Trophy, which is like the traditional Founders car, but with, you know, scavengers look to it. In addition to special rewards, you also receive plastic from each battle. Okay, very nice. Plastic better than using like copper or other generic rewards that's already in way too much abundance. The amount of plastic received depends on the way you play, the amount of cargo delivered to the MCP, and accordingly difficulty enemies, the number of enemies destroyed, the amount of installed upgrade turrets, etc. Interesting. So again, I'm guessing one of the extra points that you get for delivering cargo that also reinforces enemies, if the enemies themselves actually become more valuable if they stay the same reward. I mean, either way, I'm guessing it's going to be mandatory to do all the cargo, so they can actually get a decent amount of plastic for the battle here. I mean, the main barrier for a lot of these modes here is that when they're around, they are not like remotely profitable or advantageous for EXP. A question mark, they might be advantageous for EXP. I'm not quite remembering Operation Gozu here. But the thing is that historically, the modes here have very, very sparse rewards, which generally makes them very poor performers for your unit of time here. I mean, for example here, it's like trying to do the War for Fire missions when Frontier Defense is still going. Because Frontier Defense gives you, like, the full rewards, while every other mode does not. So, I wonder if it's going to be similar to that, and that it's going to be a time waster. But, we'll have to see here. The fact it's using plastic, though, is going to be very interesting. It's one of the more expensive resources in this game here. So, actually might be a decent way to earn money. We'll have to see about that. I'll probably do a video actually going over that when I actually do the mode. I mean, there's just a lot of things to go over here, and this video is already getting into 20-minute territory. Again, I'm going to skip the maps here because I've already covered the maps in the previous video actually going over it because they haven't changed them since then. They've also improved the environments on Power Plant and Knuckle Guards, so congratulations, very nice here. Improved the matchmaking systems of some clans and starting in top leagues, so that'll be nice here. I'm not sure what that actually is going to mean here, if this is going to prevent people from low-tier clans from going up to the very high-tier clans, but extended the map rotation of some brawls, so congratulations, very nice. I don't really do too much with brawls, so if this is a big thing for you, yay, congratulations. You get a cookie. Next thing here, we got all the balancing changes here. I'm not sure if these actually changed from previous expansions here, but I'm just going to assume these are all new, so let's go ahead and go over this here. Piercer, damage reduced by 7% here. That's pretty interesting, because I've never seen Piercer do too hotly in PvP. Very rarely did I see it actually go around, but okay, I guess it might have been overperforming the other shotguns in its class, so alright. Prosecutor 76. Now the cannon shell pierces 2 cells of the armored car construction. Well, again, it'd be nice to show you what it was previously. Again, it's hard to understand the relative change in its power when you don't give the previous version of it. Because at least with damage reduced by 7%, you know its damage from the last iteration has gone down by 7. With this one, I don't know if it's changed. I don't know. But I'm going to guess that it was previously 1 cell. We'll say it's a buff here. But again, here, that'll definitely help out a lot here. The 2 cells of the armor penetration here, that's going to go through a lot of armor now. Not only does it go through the super light armor, but any of that armor that is technically 2 cells thick can now actually be penetrated, and it's going to go through it and actually deal damage behind it. So definitely going to be a lot more effective against most skirt armor here, unless you go for that weird multi-layered stuff that's super thick. Next, a Kapkan mine layer here. Now, it'd be easier for heavy vehicles to tear the cable. I guess that was the same thing as last time. I remember that. Reloading time increased from 12.5 to 15 seconds, so a bit longer to reload. The time until the mine self-destructs was reduced from 60 seconds to 45 seconds. Again, I feel like that was changed previously. I feel like it was down to 30 seconds previously, but 45 seconds, still not too bad. Definitely going to linger around the map for a very long time, because you have to remember, most PvP maps, or PvP missions, they last like, what, 4 minutes at maximum? With oftentimes them going way quicker. So you won't have to really reload your mines terribly often. I mean, the majority of the time, the mines will just either be destroyed, or the fact is you're going to be moving around, the map changes, people are going to be moving, so you're going to be laying down more lines. So I can't imagine the self-destruct aspect of it being terribly impactful. But alright, Captain too deficient and versatile. No kidding. Still not going to reduce the effectiveness or the play rate of this thing in the slightest, because Kapkan is still mandatory for any sort of competitive crossout. Spike 1 and damage increased by 8% here. Again, not really doing a whole bunch here, because the main appeal of Spike was the fact it could flip small cars. Still can't do it, but okay, cool. Little extra damage here might make it more effective for like sniping cabins. Grenade Launcher Thresher here. Maximum spread reduced by 50%, now the Grenade Launcher shoots more accurately. Alright here, with this change you want to facilitate the game using the Thresher's perk. The thing is though, the Thresher's perk is that at close range, so the fact is, same criticism as the last time, just really reducing the spread by 50% here, really going to change the medium to short range performance of this. I guarantee you the main impact of the Thresher not performing close range is the fact that its turn speed is maybe not ideal here. Again, I haven't played around with it too much here, but that's what I'm guessing it is. Now, the Icarus, I have 7 here. I was going to say 4 here, not the correct one. Now, the power score has been increased from 480 to 550. So again, trying to really shove the Icarus from the lower power scores into the higher power score here definitely needs to be happening here, because a lot of newer players to this game that hover around the lower power scores here, them constantly engaging with hovers is not a very fun game here. Especially for any of those people who can do hover and scorpion builds on low power score. Yeah, those are deadly. So the fact that these got pushed up there a little bit more, excellent. That's what we need here. Harpoon Skinner. Now the Harpoon holds the enemy down for only 8 seconds here. Okay, I'm curious as to what it was before. I know previously in the live servers it was like indefinite. But what's the previous perk from it? That was mentioned in the previous patch notes. Not to see them. Be able to hold track when the enemy Harpoon releases the enemy, and can help with a special scale around the site here. So it just tells you how long you have left here. Hoorah! Cool. Change is relevant only for enemy vehicles. The Harpoon is attached to other surfaces, surrounding objects, terrain, etc. I'm actually curious for allies too. That applies to allies as well. The cable will not automatically unhook, which is excellent here, so you can still do your spider builds here. But the thing is that for 8 seconds, it's still going to be more than enough for most Skinner players, because as soon as the melee builds get into your groove and they're actually able to stay on you, it becomes very hard to dislodge them, especially with the fact that pinning is still super easy. But alright, cool. Now the Mammoth here cooldown increased by 10% here from 6 seconds to 6.6 here. So slightly bit less faster firing speed here. But with the reload engine and any sort of reload cabins, this should be pretty much offset. So they'll get the Cerberus in the reload module. Not to mention too, I can't imagine Mammoth being terribly popular. But I guess it was in higher power scores. The issue is I'm not like in the 12 to 15k range, where I think Mammoths are actually going to be very common. So I'm not quite sure if Mammoths were like super popular up there, but alright, cool. I guess the Mammoth was overperforming if this is the case. Now the Annihilator here. The drone's durability has been reduced by 15% again. I imagine this is probably going to be more for a console change and for people with a low fire rate weapons. Anyone with machine guns probably not having too much of an issue with this. Now the perk reduces the power of any cabin by 4% instead of 5%. Again, how many times does this stack? You gotta tell us the cap here. Otherwise, this is useless. Useless information. Alright, cool. Thank you. So I'm guessing that it's going to reduce the power of your cabins, which I'm guessing is revolving around speed and acceleration less aggressively. And damage is reduced by 10% here. So again, too much efficiency here. The thing is though, Annihilator drones are still absurdly expensive for me to even mess around with. And not too many people utilize them, especially in large scale like 8v8 regular PvE. I imagine maybe in more clan battle oriented battles, you might see this become more efficient. I know definitely on console this thing would be a monster. But this is PC we're talking about here, and console has their own balance changes here. So it'll be interesting to see how that turns out here. But it'll actually be interesting to see whether or not drones' price will fall because of this. Because I guarantee you, it won't. It's still probably going to be the 34, 3,500 range, easily. Toadfish. Now, the crossbow loads 15% faster, 5.1 instead of 6 seconds. Still not going to make me want to play it. Toadfish, still one of the like least performative legendaries that are out there. I mean, I think the only thing cheaper than that is maybe the Tsunami and maybe the Aspect. Maybe. The Machine Gun Punisher, so this is the relic version here. Increases the spread from the shot is reduced by 15%, so a bit more accurate, especially at long distances. And damage increased by 9%. No developer comment here. My guess is probably not performing terribly well, especially for a gun that's going to cost you $500. Next, we have the Pulse Accelerator here, Scorpion. The physical size of the projectile was increased by 2.5 cents. The current projectile size is now 35% here. Okay, okay. So size was actually increased, but then now it's been reduced again? 35% smaller than its original size before the update of 12.9. So it's still smaller, but it's been increased to a relative amount. It'd be nice if you can almost have like an actual absolute measurement of this, but I guess it wouldn't really make sense unless you actually had the measurements for every other projectile in this game. But cool, still smaller, still able to pierce through armor more effectively without hitting everything else you don't mean to. So definitely increasing its sniping capabilities here. Interface here. So definitely doing changing around here with the ability to actually go back on a couple of blueprints. So if you go to one blueprint and then you go to the next one, it actually will change out here. I wonder if the GIF here will refresh. So you can see it went from one blueprint, it's going to go to the next blueprint here. You can actually see here on the very leftist side here, you can see a small icon. It's all in Russian, so I have no idea what it means. But now you can actually go ahead and go back to the various blueprints you were utilizing earlier. So, yay! How exciting. So if the current vehicle is changed to the build mode, and then the mode is closed, you can return the vehicle's original state. To do this, open the list of blueprints. My goodness, I'm having a hard time speaking today. I'm sorry for all those who are actually watching to completion here. And use the previous assembly or next assembly buttons located to the left and the right of the vehicle here. So essentially it's just going to allow you to Control Z or go back to the original vehicle. I'm pretty sure this is already a function in the base game itself where you could literally just press Control Z and would already take you back to your previous car's blueprint. Kind of similar to how you can undo placing down the last part here. But cool, I guess now there's a button here for those who actually need it. Works the same way as switching between vehicles that have been assembled using the auto assembly or save from blueprints. You can switch between these build variants that have been assembled. So, yay, cool. Information about the builds is also stored in the X until the next game, so it'd be very nice here. You can actually change it out quite frequently and without having to mess around a whole bunch here. So allowing for easy changing if that was really a big issue, but alright, cool. Now each of the saved blueprints is divided into pages. Each page displays 6 blueprints here. You can switch between these pages using special buttons or by scrolling here. The range of the parameters for the trigger, laser drill have been displayed correctly. Okay, so not really too much of a change here. I guess, yeah, nice to have. Instead of a scrolling wheel, you now just have pages. That's really only a minor change, but alright here. Sound, you got a brand new music track here. Let's listen. Very exotic. Much more of a somber one here. Definitely sounds more like a song you would hear in like a video overview. Alright, what's the sound of the song? Middle of the song sound like? Oh, can I not? Oof, I cannot actually drag it. You can actually see it's a super long song here. It goes on for like another 4 or 5 minutes. Yeah, it definitely sounds like a garage song here. Okay, cool, cool. Added in sound effects here. And then again, at this point, it's just a minor amount of miscellaneous changes here. So that is pretty much everything. So again, a very mixed bag here with the seasons. Definitely some interesting changes here with the weapons here that actually made it to the base game here. I do like the changes to the Skinner and the Annihilator here. I imagine those are going to be the most impactful here for a variety of people. And potentially the Cap Can, depending on how it actually works here. The main thing is being able to have the vehicles actually snap. And the increase of loading time here might make it a bit more of an involved process here. But alright, and the rest of the changes here, meaningless for the most part, to be honest. And the map changes here might be a bit interesting here, but we discussed that last time. So, well, I want to thank you all here for joining me. I know this is a very long video. Didn't mean to make it this long here, but yeah. That's kind of what happens when you go through a lot of these notes in great detail. Sure, it's not going to be like a 40-minute video if I included everything here, but that's it. It's just for another conversation another time here. Heck, I might even start doing it where like I start actually speeding up the audio and the video of the videos itself innately by like 1.2, 1.3 times to actually like get through this. But alright, what do you guys think about this new season here? Yay, nay? Do you actually approve the changes? Do you like the new weapons? Do you like the new balance changes? Do you like the new maps? Leave your comments down below of your thoughts. And on that, guys, I want to thank you all for joining me, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.